Yes, I just love this view. It's a bit improvised because it's a bit late, and I actually almost forgot to record it today. But isn't it just beautiful? It's not real. It's one of those, well, battery operated basically, but it's just beautiful. At least it looks from where I'm standing. So I'm just gonna touch on something briefly. So it's not gonna be a long video because it's late, and yeah, it's nice to have short ones as well. And it's about Aikido kind of friendship. I'm not sure if I spoke of this before. I may have. And it's basically my North Node in Pisces, and there is this cult book, or I don't know, cult, like the Bible type of like go-to book for the nodal axis when it comes to astrology. And I read it there first, and it just stuck with me so intensely, and that's, I'm talking at least 20 years now, that and I feel this on daily basically, or certainly every time I have an interaction with someone, particularly when it gets rocky, or I'm witnessing something I don't enjoy, or I don't agree with, or I don't want really to engage with. And my instinct, my sense of alignment, my sense of doing it right has always been to just step aside. And then, but I grew up in the culture that considered that cowardly, so I carried shame around that, and guilt, and fear of judgment. And I received it for many years from my own old culture, but also, I'm pretty sure, here in England as well, to a point, maybe not so bluntly, since English are very indirect. But it's just always felt so right for me to just, step aside. It really isn't my thing. And whatever someone's thinking, of course, if it's about me directly, and they're telling me at any given point, I mean, that's harder to ignore. Or, well, it was. Nowadays it doesn't happen. If it did, it wouldn't be hard to ignore. But in the past it would have been. But that's actually far less frequent. Far more frequent was me just hearing views of the world and that I just really, really didn't find palatable, didn't agree with, and yet I never felt meaning in debating. And yet, like I say, where I grew up, debating and philosophizing and arguing actually decided the quality of a person. How well you argued was a real quality. And it's just so I was kind of trained like that, conditioned that that's the way to be, and I was good at it. I was very good at it. But it was such a vacuous, such an emptying experience, such a kind of just like grinding, and horrible. Even though nothing necessarily horrible happened, and I did win more than I lost in my arguments, but in either cases, it's just, yeah. Anyway, and that was decades ago. And then as I grew a bit older and left the country and all that, I started to finally kind of relax into my own ways, which are nothing like that. I detest arguing, not as in, disagreeing with someone, fair enough. No, not anymore. Yeah, just, it really isn't for me. And that's the Aikido style of relating or friendship from that book. That was revolutionary to hear for me. And Aikido is basically when it's a defense mechanism, or a defense martial arts, where you defeat, or rather, you defeat your opponent, or it's not even about defeat, you just step aside so they actually fall on their own, let's say, sword. I mean, it's not about swords, I don't think they fight like that in Aikido, but anyway, the point is that you just sort of you don't use force, you don't attack, you just defend yourself, and you defend yourself just by, kind of maneuvering yourself out of the way of the attack. And that's what always felt so natural to me. So I always felt most graceful when I did that, when I was like that, and I still do. So if you're like this, it's a beautiful, it's okay to be this way, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And yeah, that's it from me for tonight.